Karnataka, India during 1985 to 89 and master's degree in renewable energy from University of Edinburgh, Germany under prestigious DAAD scholarship, German Academic Exchange Program. He has over 10 years of experience in designing renewable energy and sustainable technology systems. He is specialized in biogas technology from kitchen waste for thermal, electrical, and compression to cylinders and organic waste, renewable energy microgrids, biomass energy technologies, solar energy, rainwater harvesting, and other sustainable and green technologies. He is also involved in international and national consultancy and projects, promotion and dissemination of renewable and sustainable technologies. He actively participates in many rural development programs to promote renewable energy technologies in rural Karnataka. He has conducted many workshops and training programs on renewable energy, rainwater harvesting technologies to the rural and urban people under service to community projects. Some of the major renewable energy and sustainable technology projects implemented and currently in progress by him include pilot kitchen waste biogas plants projects at Port Villa, Espiritu Santo, and Vanuatu Islands in South Pacific. IHU WASH Innovation Hub for Urban Water, Sanitization and Health Project WASH Chair at NIE Mysore. Project in collaboration with Mysore City Corporation and NIUA, that is National Institute of Urban Affairs, New Delhi, sponsored by USAID. Renewable energy integrated microgrids to remove remote villages in cooperation with University of Wisconsin, Madison, USA. So is the consultant for establishing 1000 kg per day kitchen waste biogas plant at correction facility, Suva, Fiji Islands in the South Pacific. And also is responsible for the installation of 1000 kg per day biogas plant at Mysore Zoo in collaboration with Bark and India Technology. And he is instrumental in the installation of 100 kg per day kitchen waste biogas plants at Pramati School, Mysuru, HUL, Mysore, ATI, Administrative Training Institute, Mysore, Postal Training Center, Karwar Naval Base, NIE Boys Hostel, Mysuru, and many more. More than 100 numbers, small kitchen waste biogas plants, including houses for Mr. Randeep DC Mysore, Mrs. Suma Shamsundar, Srimati Manjula Guruprasad, and Srimati Radha Ganesh, villages near Bidadi under Bosch CSR project, and many more are built under his supervision. Rainwater harvesting design and scheme to prestigious Mysore Palace, Mysore, India, ATI and AIISH are the major projects he is undertaking, and also Zilla Panchayat Mysore and many houses and institutions. He has won many awards like Lions Club of Mysore and Dakshina Kesari Best Engineer Award for the year 2011 from Lions Club of Mysore South, and DAAD Germany Scholarship for Master's Degree Studies in 1999 to 2000. His hobbies include organic farming, where he has established 4-acre community farm near Mysuru, and trekking, nature study, cycling, traveling, etc. So we are very much lucky to have such a resource person with a diverse experience and interests. So once again, I welcome you, sir. I hereby hand over the floor to the resource person. Please, sir, you can carry on with the proceedings. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mohan Kumar. I think you have to give me the host option so that I can present. Okay. So, good morning, everybody. Or rather, sorry, good afternoon. Um, I hope things are clear and audible, and there is no echo in the thing. I am Shamsundar Subrao from National Institute of Engineering, Mysore. So I thank all the officials who are really responsible for making this presentation today. And I also welcome all the participants of FDP who have registered for this program as such. So I will just give me a few seconds. I will switch over to my presentation. So can you see the presentation slide now? Can anyone of you answer?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. So if there is any problem, somebody has to call me and tell, because I'll be seeing only the presentation screen here. So if there is any problem at any time, I think Professor Rajshekhar or somebody else should call me and tell about it. Otherwise, I will assume that things are uh, fine and things are happening as such.
Yeah, we will do that, sir. Go ahead. If there is any problem, we will tell you.
So today the topic is need to switch to greener alternatives in the energy domain. So let me tell about our center first before we talk on technologies. So we are at National Institute of Engineering, Mysore, and at the Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainable Technologies. We work on sustainable development, renewable energy, eco-friendly, and green technology. So what are the technologies we provide? So we provide biomass technologies. We work on alternative energies, where kitchen waste is converted into energy, waste is converted into compost. We convert, in the third you can see biomass technology, we convert used vegetable oils, cooking oil to biodiesel. We have solar energy technologies. We work on microgrids. We work on rainwater harvesting, sustainable materials, muscle power technology. So we have international credentials. We have worked on many projects at the international level, as introduced by Mr. Mohan. We have done biogas plant at Vanuatu Islands. We have good contacts with German Biogas Association, and we also have working with University of Wisconsin Madison in US on microgrids. These are some of the pictures of our center crest. We have a demonstration unit. We have a biogas plant. I will tell you more about it, which is spread from the waste from the canteen or the cafeteria, and also from our student hostel. On the right side, you can see the biodiesel used for vehicles and student involvement in many of these activities. So we work for the cause of society for promoting green and sustainable technologies. We provide comprehensive, cost-effective renewable energy solutions through project and consultancy services. We design and development of renewable energy systems to bring marketable products. I mean, we design systems. So these are some of the main activities. Let us see our campus, what we have in our campus as an alternative green technology. Entire campus Rooftop is covered by solar panels. We have 185 kilowatt grid tied solar power plant, which gives energy to our main building, and excess energy go to our TESCOM, that is the Chamundeshwari Electric Supply Unit. We have a biogas generator from kitchen waste, that's the canteen waste, and also from the student hostel. So we run this biogas, and the energy generated we use for cooking and for experiments. This is also a syllabus for our 7th semester students, mechanical engineering, because we are autonomous. So we are offering this as a 4 credit program. And we have a 2 credit program on microgrids for 6th semester interdisciplinary, where we work on these alternative energy systems. We have aerobic composters, rainwater harvesting, and we have a small plant where we convert cooking oil to biodiesel. Is it okay? Can somebody give me a response? Is it fine? Mohan?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's fine, sir. No problem. You can proceed, sir.
Okay, the pace is okay, right? So I will continue. So in between, if there is something else, somebody wants to ask a question, they can interrupt, no problem, and ask. Or even you can ask it at the end if that is required. So today the topic is need to switch to greener alternatives in the energy domain. So energy domain, we know it is providing energy to full of, for example, India, if we take around 300 megawatts of energy we want at any instant of time. And how is this energy coming? And why we want to switch to greener alternatives? And how we can switch to greener alternatives? I want to explain that with some uh, case studies and examples pertaining to how we have done this program. So we'll see in the scenario of energy domain. Energy domain in 2015 of India. This is from the Ministry of Energy. You see, of the total electricity required, 189 megawatts is from thermal. So more than 60-70% is from thermal, coal power plants. Then we had hydro, around 41 gigawatts, I mean 41,000 megawatts. Then we had renewables, that is wind, solar, biomass, micro hydro, all those 35 gigawatts, and around 6%, I mean 6 gigawatts of nuclear. So this is scenario in 2015. Now you see the scenario in 2018. You see the thermal, it was 189, it is increased to 229 gigawatts. But luckily, the alternative energy in the energy domain, renewable energy has acquired now the second place, around 69 gigawatts. So it has taken over the hydro position, and then the hydro 45, and nuclear around 7 gigawatts. So you can see energy demand is growing with a high rate in India. Now in 2019-20, it's around 350 gigawatts now of the total energy. So this energy, I'll come back to the slide. The thermal energy is from coal. This is polluting. This is polluting our entire environment, and this is causing a lot of problems. And second thing is we don't have so much of good coal also. after some time we may have to import. And major thing is its carbon emission, carbon dioxide, high level of pollution it's created. And it is centralized power plant. For example, we have in Raichur, Shaktinagar power plant in Karnataka. Then hydro is from water. Again, if there is no rain, water doesn't work. Again, we'll end up with issues. Then nuclear power. Again, we need nuclear fuel, we need capacity building, we have Kaiga in Karnataka, and Rambe or Tamil Nadu, near Kanyakumari, Kodambalam. So these are doing the job. But people now have started investing on alternative energy, renewable energy, which is the need of the day. As I told you, one example is India doesn't have energy security. We're importing oil, we're importing petrol, diesel, crude oil. Then we import coal also to a certain extent. Nuclear fuel is imported. So, most of the energy domain we are importing. But we don't have energy security if we keep on importing. That's one of the reasons why we have to switch over to newer renewable energy domain. And second thing is global warming. I'll come to that, which increases the temperature there. So, India now realizing the importance of energy security has gone for alternative energy over to renewable energy in the energy domain. So one of the main projects now coming up in India is National Solar Energy Mission. It is an ambitious goal of achieving more than 100 gigawatts by 2022. So we are already in 2020, so another 2 years. But can't reach the target of 100 gigawatts. So we are moving to that direction for an alternative energy now. So population, all of us know in India, we are 130 crores, 1.3 billion of the total population of the world. In China is another 1.3 billion. So most of the people in India need high quality energy every day. Our technology is improving, communication is improving, energy needs of the villages are increasing. When every person is using mobile phone, you need energy. Every person is mobile now. Transportation, mobility, running factories, huge amount of energy, around 350 megawatts of electricity. Then transportation fuels. But due to these thermal power plants, the air quality of India is also very bad now. You can see this picture. All this greater than 90 particulate matter in the north near Delhi, the pollution when they burn the biomass in Punjab and other regions, the pollution increases a lot. The air quality is another reason why we have to switch over to alternative energy sources where the emission is less. So today we look on sustainability, sustainable development, sustainable technologies, sustainable energy sources. All this calls for a shift in the way we should restructure ourselves, otherwise we will be in big trouble. So today we are targeting on energy sector. It applies not only to energy, it applies to food, it applies to water. Everywhere we need this shift in a different source of energy, saving the environment, going green, all these concepts are made. reason why we have to shift to renewable or green energy, as I told you, is the CO2 emission. Huge carbon dioxide is emitted by all thermal power plants, and that is polluting. So this has to be reduced. Our carbon dioxide extent, if it goes on increasing, it leads to global warming. The earth temperature increases, and also it leads to acid rain because it creates a blanket. Together with CO2, we'll have the sulfur from the automobiles. And this sulfur mixes with water from the rain, and you get sulfuric acid, which is acid. So we are, for the energy requirement, we are using huge amount of coal. We are depleting our natural resources. Huge amount of natural resources. We are burning wood, and again depletion natural resources. So this has to be reduced. So that is another need why we have to shift to alternative energy sources. And another thing is, most of our, you can see this pyramid, most of our energy systems, we use the gadgets, we have to have energy conservation. We have to save. Then energy efficiency. It is switch over to LED bulbs or 5-star rating appliances. Then we have to go for renewable energy, wind turbine or solar power plant or various resources. So this is what I explained, the concept of sustainable energy. So is everything okay? I mean, am I in the right path? Somebody?
Yes, sir. Please proceed, sir.
Okay. So the renewable energy to be adopted should be a paradigm shift. That's the need. So there are various renewable energy sources. So we have solar, one of the greatest renewable energy sources we have on earth. So this solar can be an alternative to switch to greener alternatives in energy domain. Huge amount of solar every day. So we can have solar hot meter, we can have solar power plant in our own rooftop of our home. We can connect it to grid. We can use that energy for electricity. Excess we can give it to the grid. So huge energy alternative, greener alternative in the energy domain is none other than solar. So National Solar Energy Mission has been started by Government of India, achieving a target of 100,000 megawatts. So this will be a paradigm shift in energy domain. Every rooftop, every house should have a solar power. Every institution should have solar. Every hospital should have solar power. Unused land can hold solar power in megawatts, and that can give energy. We can have solar water heaters everywhere and switch it to greener energy. We can have thermal power plants of solar where we can generate electricity. So India is blessed with solar energy all the 365 days in many places, like Mysore, Bangalore, or Karnataka, for example. We can use. Then we have water. We have the energy from all the rivers. We have Kaveri. We have Linganamaki power plant. Mahatma Gandhi. We have the Bluff Samudra Power Plant. We have the um, power plant in North Karnataka. Tupa, Nagajeri, all this are water-based power plant. Kadra plant, Kai, Kodasalli, all those. Wind turbine is another huge resource where we can shift for an energy alternative. Is the wind energy. So many of you, as you know, you are all on the faculty thing. The energy from the wind is half rho AV cube. So it is area of the wind turbine and cube of the velocity. Means more the velocity, you will get cube of it. If you have 2 meters per second, you have cube of it, 8 times more the energy, logarithmically. So many wind places in India can be harvested. We have Kapalgudda, Gadag region. We have in near to Chitradurga, Jogimatti. We have some places in near Arsikere, Karnataka, I am telling. Similarly, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat. We are also, I think, become third or fourth position on the wind energy domain in total world. So more than 30,000 megawatts of power. That is an alternative in the energy domain. We have geothermal energy, energy from the earth. Not much sites in India, but few of them you can tap energy. And another huge source is biomass, agriculture waste, straw, coconut shells, rice husk. All these are biomass. Which instead of burning, just like making it can be burned again, generate electricity. Or the garbage from the city. We work on biogas. We convert the waste in Mysore city to biogas. That is methane, CH4 from the biogas by anaerobic digestion. This we can run a electrical generator. I mean, the diesel generator can be modified to run on biogas, and I can generate electricity. Or bio CNG, I can convert the biogas and use it as cylinders, run vehicles, automobiles, or biodiesel. Use vegetable oils, convert into biodiesel. So huge resources in India. I want to now touch upon technologies, what we are doing, which is an alternative energy technologies, where we can easily switch to this greener alternative. One is the waste, huge waste resources available in India, be it Mysore or Bangalore or your Dharwad, or Belgaum or Mudbidre, wherever. So you have more than 80,000 tons of waste every day from all metropolitan cities. Nothing is done in many of the cities. Mysore itself has around 400 tons of waste every day. We try to process it. Bangalore has population of 1 crore. We are 10 lakhs. 10 times more. They have 5,000 tons of waste every day. So huge waste. And this is an alternative to the energy resource. We can convert this. We can convert, we have to segregate it. We can convert it into biogas. I told you in the fourth one. And that we can generate electricity. It's a very beautiful, sustainable alternative energy. So waste bins can be used. I will go now a bit faster so that I want to concentrate on the technologies basically on the crux of the situation. So we segregate the waste, then we have the green waste, we have the dry waste, we have the hazardous waste. On the left side, you are seeing the green waste, which is an energy source. So we go here in Mysore to various locations, apartments, city corporation. We have tie up with Mysore City Corporation here. Tell them about that alternative energy is possible from waste. This is one of the sessions where I am holding. So this is the alternative energies which we can get from biomass. So biomass, I told you, waste from the city, our own, my home waste, or from your own house, from your institution, canteen, cafeteria, your APMC market, Mysore APMC market, vegetable market has 10 tons of waste every day. Agriculture market, another 10 tons. Our KR market has 10 tons. Huge one. So one of the energy source which is going waste. In the right side of my flow chart, you can see you can use it as an alternative energy. Thermal application. If it's a hard, dry biomass, I can burn it directly. Second one, in the right side, we can convert it into biogas, run for cooking or for generating electricity from the engines. So this is the flow chart. This is another session what I am holding. So one way of converting the waste is composting. So composting I will not touch now today. It's a huge domain of its own, but I wanted to show you some pictures. But I will go directly to the energy domain of biomass, that is electricity and biogas and for vehicle fuel. So this is composting. I wanted to show you some pictures of composting, how we do. These are composters. I will not explain much. This is composters, what we are doing at our center at NIE. These are different composters, what we are doing. Big one, we mix the waste and put it to the composters. This is at State Institute of Urban Development, Mysore. It is at an apartment here. You see the compost is some resort. So these leaf composters at our own institute, college. This is flowers from the temple, for schools, my own home, and this is another school. This is schools in the villages where we are doing compost. This is vermicompost. And the compost generated from this greener alternative way is manure. The manure can be used for rooftop or kitchen garden. So that is directly using it as compost. Now we will go to the energy domain. Greener alternative is that waste is converted into biogas by anaerobic digestion. So, what is biogas and how it is an energy greener alternative? So, you can see this diagram. On the left side, you have the organic waste, your own house waste, or from your own city restaurants, or from your own college, or from your waste market. That we put it in a digester by a process called anaerobic digestion. Without air or electricity, we convert it into biogas on the right, which has CH4, methane, CO2, carbon dioxide, H2S, hydrogen sulfate, traces of other. So this is an alternative energy. Where did we get it from? From the waste, which is a big problem in the city. So waste is not a problem for we engineers. For us, waste is wealth. And that gets biogas, which has an alternative energy. And we get slurry from the biogas plant, which is substitute to manure, organic manure we get. So this is the composition of the biogas, which is an alternative energy source from the waste. It has around 50 to 70% methane, carbon dioxide, and other impurities by anaerobic digestion. I want to show you today the small biogas plant what we have designed. This can be kept on your rooftop on your home, and you can put the waste and the energy biogas generated can be used for cooking. So these are the benefits of biogas. So it's an alternative energy source. It's a fuel which is clean and it has benefits. You remove the waste and other points written here. So a small gadget can be an energy alternative for our home, and it's a greener energy to replace LPG. So we also do it from these plastic drums. We cut and do it like this. This is my home rooftop of my home, and this is a biogas plant, which is an alternative, greener alternative for LPG. So we built this at around 20 to 30,000 rupees, kept on the rooftop, and the waste from the house is fed to this. And as I already told you, we get biogas, which can be used as an alternative to cooking. And we can replace around 20 to 30% of our LPG requirement of the home, not 100%, by this greener alternative. And nice to switch to this greener alternative at our home because we don't throw the waste and the waste is converted into energy and we get manure also. It's a beautiful greener alternative that we can think of today. This is my home with all this alternative energy on the rooftop of my home. So you can see in my biogas plant, the black one, native, you can see solar water heaters, which is a greener alternative to electrical geysers. On the right side, you can see solar panel, which is a greener alternative to regular electricity. And we have rainwater harvesting also as an option. Apart from that, we have the compost. So am I in line? Is it okay? On? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's perfectly all right. Yes, sir.
And the presentation, people are able to see it clearly.
Yes, sir. It is to the point, and it is very clearly audible as well as the videos, the photos are visible. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you. So this is my kitchen in my home where the biogas, that is our energy alternative, comes through a pipeline, and we have a stove here next to LPG stove where we cook by this every day. 1 hour of this energy we get from the waste. Even today we cook food from this. A nice alternative to LPG. So the slurry from my home comes and stores in this drum at the left side, which is a manure. And then the below you can see my kitchen garden, where the next side of my home is empty, where I grow all the vegetables and greens. So only the red bucket you see, the dry waste, goes to the city car. So this is our kitchen garden where we grow everything, and slurry from the biogas plant and from the composters goes to this. And this you can see the beautiful garden, and whatever we grow is organic, no other external inputs from the slurry of the biogas plant. It's win-win. The waste is converted to energy and also to men. So this is another biogas plant at our DC's house, Deputy Commissioner's house in Mysore, which we did. Biogas plant set up at DC's residence used for cooking purpose. So it's an alternative fuel. So these are some of the other thermal alternative, green alternatives in biogas in energy domain. I did. This is at Ramati School, Mysore. One of the residents in Mysore, another residence. They have a rooftop garden also, growing vegetables from that. And economics of it is here. We get the money in another 4 years if you start with a small plant of 25,000 rupees. And these are the plants at our institute at NI. We feed these 3 plants from the our own canteen waste. And biogas generated is used for cooking, running the engine, and also for generating electricity. So this is how it is utilized. And also final year students do take up as their project and also part of the curriculum, renewable energy lab. So these are anaerobic digesters. This one is another alternative fuel we have where we convert the hostel waste to biogas, the waste from the student hostel. And that biogas is used for cooking for 3 hours in the hostel. It is not 100% replacement, around 5 to 10% of energy is free. So these are some of the pictures of biogas plant at our hostel. This is in Mysore Zoo, where we are using the waste from the animals and the vegetables, and biogas is used for cooking there in the zoo. It is 1,500 kgs input per day. This is the stove at my own office where we cook using biogas, which is an alternative fuel. So we make coffee, chai, everything in my office at NIE Crest, and we use this fuel. So these are the waste that goes to biogas. So this is another project we did at Vanuatu Island in South Pacific, next to Fiji Island, where we are supplying energy to a school for cooking. This is one of the agriculture farm in Mysore, where the fuel is used for making cheese and other stuff, and also generating electricity. So this is the engine where we feed the biogas and generate electricity, which is an alternative fuel. First. So further down in the biogas, we can bottle it and run mobile bottling plant. We can run buses and blend with LPG. So these are the projects which are alternative energy. You can store it in balloon to biogas or like this balloon. Of course, we have some problems that can be tackled. We scrub it, then we get a clean biogas. One of the problem is impurities that is scrubbed. Then you can see the picture here. Biogas plant, compressor, scrubber, then you see in the cylinder and use. So we can store it in cylinders, and some of the projects we did. And then we can run vehicles. So that is about converting waste to biogas and energy. And next one is the biodiesel. We can use the waste oil and an energy alternative for our fuel for our vehicles or for the engine can be done. So we can take non-edible seeds like Pangemia, Jatopa, Simarupa, many more, or used oil from the restaurants. And this one, we do a process called trans-esterification. Some of you may be knowing it. So we have a small unit here supported by government of Karnataka, Karnataka State Biofuel Board. And each district has one. Even you have in Sirsi in North Karnataka. We have PS College in Mandya, Agriculture University in Bangalore. So small plants where we convert this used cooking oil to biodiesel, and that is used to generate electricity or running the vehicle. So this is my vehicle. I blend this biodiesel alternative energy around 10% to my diesel vehicle. So if it's 10 liters of diesel, I mean 9 liters of diesel and 1 liter of biodiesel. So that is used to run the vehicle. You can see the specific fuel consumption which has come down if we use a biodiesel. The brake thermal efficiency increases for around 20% blend of biodiesel. The carbon monoxide emission decreases for B80 to the lowest, B20 also. B20 means 20% blend hydrocarbons, oxides of nitrogen. So this is an alternative energy source from waste cooking oil. There's so much of waste cooking oil. Even Mysore, I estimate around 10,000 liters of waste cooking oil every day from the restaurants, hotels, poultries that can be used. Even at our own canteen, we get around 1 liter of waste oil every day, which we converted into biodiesel from our canteen. So that is the another technology as alternative fuel for mm, for a green. It's a green tech energy because otherwise the waste oil would have got adulterated or the emission would have got increased by regular fossil fuels. Now I'll come to other technologies which are alternative. As I already told you, solar. This is over 185 kilowatt solar power plants at NIE. It's an alternative energy from the sun. We generate around 25,000 units of energy every month and then convert. So beautiful energy alternative. Solar photovoltaic. It works on principle of light is converted into electricity. When you put a solar panel, which is a nothing but a silicon wafers doped the PN junction, which generates electricity. And that we can synchronize with grid. And excess energy we can give them. In fact, at NIE, we save energy to a tune of 30,000 units from this 185 kilowatt power plant. And our sister institute NIIT have an 85 kilowatt with grid tech. So this is about solar energy, which is an energy. So I'll be briefing most of the things because of short of time also covering it. This is, as I told you, syllabus for our students of final year 7th semester. Now I have started on online classes because of COVID. So we are offering this as a core subject, 4 credit program, renewable energy, which is nothing but alternative energy, where we touch on all these aspects. You can see unit 1 is introduction, unit 3 is solar thermal, which is an alternative energy, where you use solar cookers, solar water heaters, solar air heaters, solar concentrating collectors. Then we have solar thermal plants for electricity generations, which can be done, solar distillation, solar refrigeration, solar plant, solar chimney can be done. Then photovoltaic power plants, I told you, for villages, microgrid, grid-tied system, hybrid system, this can be done. And wind energy, I told you, individual wind power plants or wind farms that can be used, that is possible. Then geothermal energy systems that can be used as an energy. Energy from biomass, I touched upon it. Biomass, biodiesel, biogas, gasification. So this our students study and also they have hands-on. We conduct experiments on this energy technologies, fuel cells, etc., which can even alter. I'll touch upon the microgrid before I allow people to ask questions. Microgrid is a project where we're doing with University of Wisconsin as an alternative energy sources for remote villages. So remote villages can make use of solar energy available locally, energy from water, then biodiesel locally, and then we can generate electricity. And that electricity we can run a small village and become self-sufficient. So that is what we are doing microgrid for remote location. You can see here in the center there is a small village which is connected to many renewable energies: solar, photovoltaic panel, wind turbine, micro hydro turbine. So these provide energy. So if solar is cloudy, then wind can take. If there is no wind, then we can run on water. If there is no water, we can run on biodiesel. So we can go away with the conventional energy power plants like this, and we can go for small microgrid for the village, which is a boon and an energy alternative on green tech. So the village will have solar energy that can be used. The village, if it has wind, it can use. If the village has a biodiesel unit, you can run a biodiesel. Yes. So these are integrated sources: wind turbine, solar panel, micro turbine, and we can integrate devices: hybrid cars, electric cars, fuel cells, storage. So these are examples of microgrid, which is an NLD alternative at a decentralized village level. That is first. This is where we are working on this. We are integrating this. We are also offering one course called Microgrid with renewable energy integration to 6th semester students. This is the 2 credit course where we talk on alternative energy sources to be integrated to form a microgrid. So this is the syllabus. So students are also taken to villages. You can see here, tribal hamlet, where we are working on energy alternative microgrids for this village near our Nagaravale area. So we discuss, we try to design a system for it. So these are the circuit boards, which is an IoT for our microgrids as an energy alternative for the village. So we overlap Internet of Things to this and do the energy management. We have our students are developing microgrid where it can be hooked to our own cell phones. These are the students involved, and these are various like this FDP. We arranged TechWeb-based program, renewable energy, distributed energy systems. These are our student batches. These are the hands-on experience of students involved in this alternative energy. This is microgrids, microhydro, wind turbine. We continuously, and thanks to TechWeb also, we are able to do many of these energy. This is a micro hydro system designed by our students for generating power. So, this is at the left, you see our microgrid in my own office at Crest, where the entire office is powered by microgrid. So these are some of the uh, FDPs and programs which we did. So microgrid with renewable energy integration is an energy alternative, greener alternative for sustainable energy technology for villages and towns. And you people can also be part of this project. You can also send your students for these innovative projects. We get support from Wisconsin University also on this energy alternative. So that's the concept. Next one, I had written rainwater harvesting, but I will skip this entire file of rainwater harvesting because we don't have time, and also it's not in my domain today. You can see here in this slide my home, rooftop of my home, where I have all the energy alternatives, decentralized. We have biogas plant, we have solar water heater, we have solar lighting, and rainwater harvesting. This is one of our model farm, 4-acre organic farm, which we are trying out in Mysore, where we have all the energy alternatives here, biomass, solar, and also water things. So that I will not touch today. I'll skip these slides for it. So with this, I want to stop here, then go for some question answer sessions. Then let's see what else I can give inputs. So from this now I will come back to the mode of the thing, and I'm here back for anything you want to ask. So you can take over, whoever is in charge now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So it was a very nice presentation and very inspiring presentation. So you have indeed shown how the energy can be tapped from the waste and other natural resources, and we can become self-reliant on energy. So I'm really, I think all the participants are really inspired by looking at how you convert the waste into something useful, which can satisfy our daily needs. So thank you very much, sir. Now the floor is open for discussions. So any participants, if you want to ask any questions or clarify any, those you can ask.
Mohan, there are some
Yes.
questions on the wall here. Chat. Can we take up those questions first?
Okay, sir. So some have posted in the chat box, sir.
Yes.
So some questions they have posted in the chat box. So I will just read out that. The
Yeah.
first question is, sir, is there any regular or periodical maintenance required for the biogas plant once installed?
Okay. Can I know who has asked this question?
It's some nature first is, it's not showing the actual name.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Yes. Periodic maintenance is not much. In my home, I'm just feeding it. So feeding is the main important thing. So keep on feeding the biogas plant in a nice manner. What I mean is you have to mix water with used tea powder or coffee powder or waste rice left out. Feed it. No other maintenance there, Mohan Kumar. That is the answer. Back to you.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And we have one more question from uh, Dr. Rajshekhar, sir, head of the department, host department. How to separate hydrogen sulfide from biogas?
Okay. So nice. Thank you very much. As you know, biogas generated has all these impurities. One is hydrogen sulfide, another is carbon dioxide, and we have moisture also. So hydrogen sulfide we remove using scrubbers. One of the nice thing or easiest way is pass the biogas through uh, iron. For example, say waste iron saves from the machine component. So iron pieces. So that will interact with the sulfur, becomes ferric oxide, and we get the biogas. This is one way. Other one is we can use chemical scrubbers, you can use lime and other things, and you can remove the hydrogen sulfate. And third one, we have now membrane technology, like your RO membrane. We have membrane which can separate the hydrogen sulfate and CO2. We can use that membrane, and we can all these three methods we can remove it. Back to
Okay, sir. One more question from our HOD. How we can store or bottle the biogas?
Okay. I showed some pictures. So once the biogas comes out, we have to purify it. We have to scrub it, remove CO2, remove H2S, remove moisture, then it becomes methane, CH4 only, where the calorific value increases from 30,000 kilojoules per kg to 50,000 kilojoules per kg. But then you have to put it in a small cylinder. So we have to use a compressor and pressurize it at 250 bars, 250 times the atmosphere. Unfortunately, it doesn't liquefy at that like LPG. So that's one of the disadvantage. So once you compress, it will compress 250 times. And we have a BIS specified cylinders, bio-CNG cylinders. In that we have to store. Then we can use it to run vehicles or to generate electricity. I hope I answered the question.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And we have Professor Sumati K. She actually wants to have your contact number.
Okay, my contact number is 9972695511. You just type it now on the chat, and that is my contact.
So, Mohan, can we ask a question directly?
Yeah, why not? Please.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Professor, I'm Lokesh here from the Sohor's department.
Yeah.
Actually, recently in our apartment, we have started the house waste processing, the same which you are telling in which you have seen in your presentation. But the major problem what we are facing is the hygiene now. Because of that, what is happening? The smell and the small insects, all those things are coming. How we can control that? In our apartment, we recently started after this COVID. Also, we started in our apartment, but this is the problem we are facing. How we can control? How we can overcome this problem?
Okay. Nice that you asked this question. I have my composter very next to me. And next to my wall, I have my composter where I am sitting in my home today. And it doesn't smell because we add both greens and brown, that is carbon. For the kitchen waste, we have a BioClean brick which has coir pit and bacteria, aerobic bacteria. And I also use EM solution which is aerobic bacteria. I mix the green waste, vegetable waste with brown waste and I add the bacteria and I give a lot of aeration so it will not smell. And after 40 days, I get a beautiful manure which I use. And coming to the insects, of course, there are certain insects. Bacteria itself is a one which you can't see. It will be processing. If the moisture is more, you get maggots. That to avoid it, you have to keep the moisture less. And if you don't want ants to come in, you have to keep water. And above the water, you have to keep the compost. So apartments, better you allocate a space in the garden area at a corner and keep the compost. I have done it in 2 or 3 apartments here. This has to be strictly followed. Segregation has to be done. Green waste has to be mixed with the brown waste. We have to have this bacteria culture in right proportion. We have to aerate it properly. Then it is not smell. It is a good manure where you can sell it at 10 rupees per kilogram. The manure. That is my answer. Back to you, Mr. Lokesh. You have anything you can add?
Yeah, no, that is fun. That is fun. I got it. Anyway, thanks for the input. But can you type that what you are adding? Because I could not able to get that word what you are adding to reduce the odor, the smell.
You can put EM solution, effective microorganism solutions. See, why the water comes is the nitrogen will be more. For example, if all the houses in the apartment put only the vegetable waste, the bacteria starts eating it faster, and that gives to the odor. And to avoid that, you add more of browns, that is dry leaves and coir pit, and this EM solution, effective microorganism solutions that are available even on internet, on even Amazon. You can procure like a waste decomposer, and you can make it. Even I have some of it, and that one You add water to it and some jaggery, and you make the decomposition. I prepare here itself and add. Then it all avoids. So that one waste decomposer you can give it on on Amazon, and you can get it at 20 rupees. You buy 1 dozen, make a EM solution and put it to this their location.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor. Anyway, I'm friend of your colleague, Dr. Prakash. We were classmates. So
Oh, is it?
I'll contact you.
In fact, he told me about Lokesh. I was wondering. No, ರಾಜಶೇಖರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಲೋಕೇಶ್ ಅಂತ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Nice.
Anyway, nice meeting. I met you because even I am product of JC. I met you.
ಹೌದಾ?
Yeah. ಹೌದು.
Yeah, please welcome. ಬನ್ನಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಬಂದಾಗ.
ಆಯ್ತು sir. Thank you. Nice.
Yes, sir. So thank you, sir. The next question is from Professor Swaroop of Host Institution. How important it is to analyze the ratio between volatile acids and alkalinity with respect to biogas production?
Okay, I think Swaroop may be doing some research. For biogas production, one is maintain anaerobic, no air, no sunlight. Then C/N ratio, carbon to nitrogen ratio should be around 30. Then volatile, we start with the TDS, total dissolved solids. So the total dissolved solids should be around 8%. With the carbon to nitrogen ratio of 30. Then if we have more volatility, we get more of biogas. It is a combination of many things. So volatility will be usually around 80% of the total dissolved solids will be volatile. So if it is volatile, it's good. The ratio of that, as I told you, in that 8% you can take. Alkalinity, we can't have more than 7.1 or 7.2 because it should be, pH should be 7 or slightly acidic, 6.8 or 7.1 last. So alkalinity is also important. You cannot have too much alkaline. It's very sensitive, the biogas generation parameters, especially the alkalinity. So maintain it below 7.1. And volatility, if it is good, you get more of that. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think no more questions in the chat box. So even though there are no questions right now, definitely I think many of the participants will contact you over phone. So because it was such an inspirational talk and the topic. So thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time and sharing your knowledge. So on behalf of the department, institution and management, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to you. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mohan, can I get the list of participants who participated today?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure. We will send it, sir. We will send it to you, sir.
And also I have put my email there, tom@ni.cc.in.
Right, sir. Right, sir. We will definitely send it, sir. Send it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the nice opportunity, Lokesh, and also to Rajsekhar and all others in the department. And nice, we'll meet down there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, have a great time ahead. So all the participants, thank you very much. So we have ended our sessions for today. So tomorrow again, the last day. So participate in the full strength. So at 9:30, tomorrow's first session will begin. So thank you very much for your patience listening from since morning. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice time. Thank you.